Good morning, Jeremy. Glad to be here.
Now, this morning we're going to explore Henry Phillips, another of the people who's, remembered, I guess, on the Warrnambool Pioneer Board. Where do we start with Henry's story?
Well, firstly, I have to say there are three Henry Phillips in Warrnambool. Two of them are on the board.
Right.
Of the three, one was a owner of Brian O'Lynn. He grew hops and he raised horses. Another one was a hay and corn merchant.
Right.
But I'm not going to talk about those two.
Okay,
I'll talk about the third one, which is Henry Phillips, the Undertaker.
Ah, it sounds like a juicier story.
Of the firm of Beattie and Phillips, which a lot of older people would remember here in Warrnambool.
Right.
And Henry Phillips came here to Portland in 1849. His parents were John Phillips and Mary Pope, and he had a number of siblings, but he married in England, in Devon, in 1849, and came to Australia with his new bride, Elizabeth Pope, which is unusual insofar as his mother was a Mary Pope, and he married an Elizabeth Pope. But I suppose in those days maybe second cousins did marry, or that might be it. But coming from a small village in Devon, that may be the case.
Right, yeah.
Maybe it's something that needs some further investigation.
Indeed.
Yes, he came here firstly to Belfast or Port Fairy, and he came on the British Empire was the name of the ship, and the ship's master was James McEwen, and there were 264 passengers on that ship. He was recorded on the passenger list as being a carpenter, and he went on in Belfast or Port Fairy in the carpentry trade, and was involved in a lot of the building of that era in Portland. Lots of houses and churches also, I believe. He purchased land in Port Fairy, and he lived there for a while, but he also purchased land in Marai Street in Warrnambool, and came to Warrnambool in 1852. And he went into partnership with Beattie, and they became Beattie and Phillips, Undertakers, in Koroit Street, around about where, it was near the Oddfellows Hall, which is where Telstra are today.
Okay, right.
Or where the Telstra shop is today.
Right, okay. So pretty much in the middle of town now.
Yes, and yeah. I saw a photograph recently of the premises, and it was a bluestone building, you might say, shaped a little bit like a church. But what got me about it was that there was only one door on the front, and I couldn't see it as being a door that you would possibly get a coffin through. Right. But that's only my opinion.
Perhaps there was a back entrance that was,
There might have been a larger door down the side drive or something like that.
Yeah, right. So Warrnambool at this time would have been very much in its infancy, wouldn't it? There wouldn't have been a great deal here at all, I would imagine, at that time.
Well, I don't think so. In 1854, I think that there would be a fair population, but small by comparison. I think maybe Port Fairy may have been bigger in that time. I'm not sure.
Right, yeah. But obviously a call for undertakers, so perhaps they saw a gap in the market.
Yes, that's right. I suppose if some people have been here long enough, they must need an undertaker eventually.
Eventually, yes.
Later on, they, I believe, moved into a more modern shop front on the same location, or close to the same location as far as I know. And they operated there for many years, until the death of Henry Phillips. Beattie continued the business after that for a number of years before he sold it, and It was then moved to Ferry Street at the back of Lay's electrical store.
Okay.
Then later on it went until about 1945 when it was sold to a new owner, which was the O'Sullivans, who are there still on the same site today.
Right, wow, gee, that's not bad.
So that's largely the history of Henry Phillips. He is buried in the Warrnambool Cemetery, and just reading from the Warrnambool Standard on the 1st of June 1896, it says, another of the early residents of Warrnambool has passed away, and though the sad event was not unexpected, it occasioned feelings of sincere regret among his friends and acquaintances of the deceased gentleman. We refer to the death of Henry Phillips, a member of the well-known firm of Beattie and Phillips, undertakers of Warrnambool. About half a century since Mr. Phillips came to the Western District, having arrived in Australia from his native town in Devonshire.
I wonder if he got a discount on the funeral. Do you think would his partner have buried him? Or?
He may have, or he may have prepaid it.
Right. Okay. Mike, thank you very much. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Jeremy.